This is Banging on the Drum. It is another beautiful day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to episode 149 of Banging on the Drum. Please remember to like, subscribe, download, go out and share with your friends. Like I said, we are only getting better. And with that being said, we need you to do something else for us. I know we're asking a lot from you. So go out and join our bracket challenge. Mike, you want to describe to them what
with the prizes. So you
yeah.
get to meet me at Hardee's in Oakdale, and if you're a real OG, you know what that means. So and you can
Free
probably get
breakfast.
an old sun drop on the way home.
Yep, yep. Sun drop for the road. That's what my dad
It's in a
uses for
can though.
his.
I'm not buying those fucking bottles. Those are shit.
Yeah, he'll probably actually have like a cooler full of them right there. He might give you two if you're lucky.
I wish I just could drink sun drop the way I used to.
My
I still
dad,
could.
my dad uses it for coffee, but anyways, just sticking to this real quick. So we shared this link on Facebook, Twitter. So if you want to join this bracket challenge where you do have a legitimate shot to meet Mike at Hardee's in Oakdale for a free breakfast, join in there. I think I put the winning bracket in though, so Mike might be scot-free, but or else you can email us at bangingondthedrum@gmail.com. I actually emailed every single person that we've ever had on the show, I think. That's not true, but I emailed our usual suspects. So it was a big email out there, but go join that one. I don't know what it'll do for us, but I think it'll be fun to talk about a little bit. But as always, I'm your host, P Dog, joined alongside M Dog. I think we already skipped past that. But anyways, how you doing, Mike? What are we doing today?
So we're gonna do overs and unders. We're gonna do the tip of the week. We're doing Pat's observation of the week, Badgers, and Bucks breakdowns. So
yeah, and we had a lot of good. I don't want to jinx it. I'm gonna knock on wood here, not too loud, so my dogs don't bark. But dang, it was a lot of good basketball going on this weekend, Badgers wise. I was all in. I had the March butterflies, and I don't know, it just felt different. It felt so good, and the Badgers played super well. I think we don't give out best job to losers usually, but man, I think Chucky might get a BJ after this conference tournament. He just whatever. We'll get into our Badgers talk later. So tell me how your week went, Mike. Tell me how your week went.
all right, so I'm gonna kind of go from like in reverse order. So last night got way too drunk during the Badger game, like real gone. We're answering my own text messages in the group chat, gone. So really not good. Almost stayed home from work. I was puking last night. It was rough.
Damn, dude, I didn't know you were drunk like that. But
But like if I get drunk and I get this, if I start getting the spins before I lay down, I'm fucked and I'm gonna throw up.
dude,
Almost.
I haven't had the spins in a long time. But anyways, going to the group chat thing. So we were AJ Store like did that putback dunk, and he was like 2 feet above the rim when he grabbed it, and you just won't expect him to get there. So the group chat, which includes our dog, we were like, that's the most athletic player since I was saying since Orlando Tucker. I think Orlando Tucker maybe could give him a run for his money. I don't know for
I would
sure.
imagine so.
Yeah, but AJ Store to me seems like, and it might be a recency bias, like the most bounce ever. And then I knew
I
you
think
were
maybe Johnny
drunk.
Davis is close to that too, and we just don't get it.
You say that, but I just think there's plays. Okay, so let's get into the
They
conversation
definitely
a
play
little
different
bit.
types of basketball.
But this is what I'm saying. So I stopped arguing with you because I knew I was arguing with a brick wall at some point when you started bringing up how Showalter was better. But so my side
Also,
point was going to be, so do you remember Ryan Evans?
yeah,
He played with Bo Ryan, right? I could be wrong about that. I should have looked this point up. But anyways, he played
borderline.
for,
Right there.
he played for a Badgers team that wasn't like
Yeah.
this, like where we were saying some stuff AJ Store does. I think this is 100% true. Would if Bo Ryan saw AJ Store take a heat check and airball a three, like he
Yeah,
would get
he would have been
benched
benched for a couple of those. He
immediately.
would have been benched for the alley oop he attempted off the backboard, I think.
That was so sweet. Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
that's
missed that
when,
one, but
yeah, but he got fouled though and got to the
yeah,
line, so that was good. But anyways, my counterpoint to your bringing up other people being as athletic as him and then not being able to show their athleticism is Ryan Evans. Is Ryan Evans would do putback dunks like you just be like, don't get me wrong, he was never like that great of a player, but every once in a while
right.
you just see something, you'd be like, geez. And I don't think Store, like I said, I think he would get benched for some of the shit he did, but like not for a putback dunk or like anything like that. And who have we seen do that? Ryan Evans is the one I can think of. Orlando Tucker probably did shit like
Yeah, so
that,
maybe
but
maybe the better way to put it is he is the most athletic player, right? Like he plays the most athletic
yeah, yeah.
because there's probably guys we don't even know about that are super athletic sitting on the bench or whatever, right?
Well,
That
when you guys showed me that Showalter stuff, that kind of blew my mind. Like I do remember him having some like sneaky, super athletic plays, but like if you look at his like high school highlight clip, you're
oh,
like,
I'm
holy
sure it's
crap!
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane.
Um,
Riley sent it. It's
yeah, I
nuts.
should watch it. I didn't. So like he is the guy that I think we missed on having him go to like grad school at Wisconsin and play wide receiver for the Badgers. 6'3", super fast, like can jump out of the gym. I think he would be very, very interesting football player.
Yeah, no, I mean you guys got my wheels turning on him. But then I thought another really good one is you brought up Sam Decker, and
Yeah,
I think he was or is still one of the more athletic guys that we've had. But I think he got to showcase that a
yeah,
very little bit, not as much as he could have. But I remember some like reverse dunks, but I do not remember him getting like as high above the rim as AJ Storr did to throw
yeah.
back a couple of the dunks that he's thrown back this year.
And like Davis and Tucker are both got to be way up there, and I would imagine Harris is too.
Yeah, Devin
Like,
Harris. But even with Devin Harris, like I remember it was a it was like a show stopping thing when he dunked. Like he would get like I remember a steal pretty specifically, and he like one man breakaway, and he just barely got it above the rim. But it was still
like
like
Chucky.
yeah, like a super sick dunk. Yeah, Chucky dunked even a little bit easier than I thought.
So he had a dunk maybe in the Purdue game, and I was like, man, that looks difficult for him. That's what I was thinking in my head. And then he had like I don't know if he was going up for a rebound or something, but he was way above the rim on that one, which
Yeah,
kind of
he
surprised
had a two hander too, and I'm pretty sure if you're putting him down like
me.
with
Yeah,
two hands, dunking isn't that difficult for you.
yeah, you're probably right. All right, so anyway, let's
Yeah, I
keep
derailed the
moving.
shit out of you.
I was no, we're all good there. But got real drunk, puking drunk, and wasn't good. Like sick enough that my wife was like, "If you want to stay home from work, you can." And I have a pretty big problem with people who give themselves a bottle flu and then stay home. So I wasn't going to do that. But I was still pretty queasy this morning.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, I think that's super cool. If my wife gave me that out, I would take it in a heartbeat. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. See, my problem
oh,
is if I start doing that, I might fall into that and just always just call in sick. Right. Like,
yeah. I
well, what's the
think
big deal? I don't need to be there today. See ya.
I used to be a big calling sick person before you. I think you changed my mindset on calling in sick. I think even like my first few years at the gym that we worked at, I I wasn't afraid to call in sick. Well, I was always afraid to call in sick, but I would still
Yeah.
do it. But I think after you just never called in sick and took pride in it, I was kind of like, okay, I
Yeah.
need
I
to be
did
more
some,
like
like,
that.
I came in 100% with the flu a couple times. Like, just sat in my chair and did nothing like the whole day. Like, just a shitty employee. Should have called in sick.
I'm
But
here.
yeah. Well, I did say quite often at that job. Basically, the only requirement is to be there, right?
Yeah.
And so I did always make it. And then so I got my face scratched up because the wife and I were getting a little too frisky in bed, I guess. So
Damn, you dog you.
yeah, so yeah, right there. I don't know if people can catch it. My camera's pretty shitty today, but it
Yeah,
scraped up pretty decent.
I can see
Um,
it.
and I say that, but like it was true and also not true. Like what you believe when I say we got too frisky in bed is that we were fucking or something, and then but that's not quite accurate.
You were putting the bed together.
No, so we were like just laying in bed, and like the kid was like bringing us like fake. We're watching TV or something. And the kid was bringing us fake fruit or whatever, and we started fighting over which food we got. And then it came to like a who is like taking up more of the bed. And so like I started saying some shit, and she started like kind of scooting over, like looking where I'm at. I'm not even close, but I could see that she was scooting over. So then I started making fun of her for that, and like started like scooting my way too, like towards the other end. And then she tried to push me off the bed, and I like put my head down and scratched me right on the nose.
Took a piece out of your nose.
Yeah, like a good chunk too.
Damn.
And then all right, so and then early this week, my washing machine broke. So from like Tuesday maybe on, we did not have a washing machine. Had to wash clothes at my in-laws one day. I mean, we could have taken them down to my parents too, but we were up at my in-laws, so we just took them up there and washed them while we were there. But fixed the washing machine tonight, easy peasy. It was only 2 bolts. I just had to wait uh, for the part to come in. It took for fucking ever, but and it pisses me off because it's like the whole thing is like one little plastic piece that snapped off, and it's just a shitty like part.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how a washing machine would break to a point where I can fix it. It's probably
You could
like
have. This is what it was literally 2 screws or bolts or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call them. And all you had to do was make sure that the thing goes into the hook, right? And then screw the 2 bolts in. It was super simple once the YouTube showed me how to do it. But yeah, so it was good that I got it fixed. I feel happy about that.
did you feel pretty manly afterwards too? I feel like fixing a washing machine, you pump your chest a couple times.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
probably
that
that's probably why you got so drunk. You were like feeling yourself after fixing the
No,
washing
I did
machine.
this tonight. I fixed the
Oh,
machine.
okay.
Um, yeah, it literally took like 3 minutes once I had that thing. Went down to the state tournament. My team that I was rooting for did not win. Actually, probably had the worst loss of the tournament. West Salem got pretty stomped on Friday
Who
against Pewaukee.
who do you got going in West Salem? A cousin or something?
Yeah, so my nephew on my wife's side he plays for West Salem.
Okay.
He had a
So we
decent
both
game,
got
but
West Salem ties.
we both got West Salem ties. Yep. Did you have anybody like that you still know going, or just Riley?
No. Yeah, after the O crew went, or after the R Dog and his clan got out of there, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know any
okay.
West Salemites.
That's all right. But then they took. I'm going to call it fourth at state.
Good work, West Salem.
Yeah, very good. Like, and so they got bumped up to Division 2, which is like last year they were in Division 3. They were, rumor has it they were one kid over the like where you move up or move down.
They're like an oddly athletic, like I want to say cesspool, but I feel like that isn't the right
So
word. But like
I
it's like
think
a
they benefit from playing teams in the lacrosse area quite a bit, and then being bumped down to Division 3 when like Central is Division 1, Holman's Division 1, Onalaska, Logan, all Division 2, right? So it's kind of like Aquinas. Aquinas went to the state tournament as well this year, but they get bumped down to like Division 4, like
yeah,
or
because
broken
they're
away. So
a
they're
private.
fine.
Yeah, that one's ridiculous to me. But hearing you say the divisions, man, they've shifted since I've been around. Because what Salem was
Yeah,
always below Sparta by, I want to say 1 or 2 divisions, and
yeah, and
I can't see.
maybe Sparta's a 1. Sparta and Toma might be Division 1. I'm not sure. They don't do anything though, so you never know.
Yeah, that seems crazy to me. Having those two schools compete with like Milwaukee or even lacrosse schools, honestly,
Yeah,
not
but
crazy,
so
but like
so maybe not Sparta, but Toma for sure is like the largest landmass district in the state, right? So they have like Oakdale, Warrens. What is the other one? You did put Oakdale. There's another one in there, Camp Douglas. They got a bunch of like little towns around them that they encompass as well.
gotcha. Yeah, Oakdale. That's where you'll be getting breakfast with Mike if you
Oakdale,
win the
there you go.
turn. If you win the
Yep.
tournament.
And then so a couple of like things with the kids. Um, so my daughter got bumped up from just fourth grade volleyball to fourth, fifth grade volleyball. I don't know if that's like actually good long term, because the the fifth graders that are on her team are developing. They're developing, right? And so I don't know if you're gonna like if she'll get better because of this or not. But she did get bumped up because she's one of the better fourth graders. So
Yeah, I would think you could only get better from that, but maybe there's some like aspects.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. It might be fine. And then my son, who's 7, like generally is not a guy who wants to like go out and play catch or like do anything with sports, but he gets at me basically every day now. Like wants to go out and play catch with football. So
That a
I'm pretty pumped
boy.
about that. Yep,
He's got an arm.
he does okay throwing. Not a cannon or nothing. No.
You got to
He does
start
all right
teaching the
though.
mechanics, as I do,
I'm
like
just
just awful mechanics there.
yeah. So my I don't know how well he'll take super criticism on it, but I am trying to like. So when we play catch, he always wants to catch it like in the breadbasket, like cradle it in, and I do. He will try to catch it with his hands. Like I always yell at him, like you got to try to catch it with your hands. So he tries, which is also good.
Yeah, it always blows my mind when I meet an adult that can't throw. Like, but it's more
Yeah,
common than you think. Like, I would say like 70% of the military can't throw a ball. Like when they throw a ball, you're like
yeah.
what's going on right there?
So like, I had a buddy down in Kansas that played Division 1 football, right? Like he was a defensive end at Missouri State, and I was like, well, like anybody can throw a ball. Like it's like that's you grow up doing it all the time. He's like, I can't throw for shit, man. I was like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like that doesn't like compute in my brain. Like, but
Yeah, I don't have a cannon by any means, but like I can look like a normal person throwing a ball. Like if I ever had to
yeah,
throw out a first pitch, like I think like I wouldn't be. I'm sure I'll get like super nervous depending
I
on
think
like
the
the
nerves play a
scenario.
big piece of it, right? But yeah, I feel like I can throw 90 feet or 60 feet, no problem.
Yeah, and it would have to be like the nerves that got to me, like in
Yeah,
that situation. But I do think they bring out some people to throw first pitch that like don't know how to throw. Like 50
yeah,
Cent,
I
I want to
definitely.
say was like,
I don't think 50 Cent doesn't know how to throw. I think 50 Cent like that's a marketing ploy.
oh, okay, I
But I've
don't think
definitely
so.
seen some guys who can't fucking throw. And maybe 50 Cent's inside that realm. That's
Yeah.
possible. How did your week go?
Oh, mine was great. So, but I'll start with my under. So it was pretty scary at first. So we had my dog has the crazy. She has like flappy ears. We've talked about this like off the show. I think. I hope because else I'm retelling this story. But she gets like ear infections because her ears are like flappy. I don't know how to explain that better. But like you know how some dogs' ears are like just permanently up. Like that's one
Yeah,
of
is
my
that why
dogs.
they dock ears? Is to like prevent the infections,
I don't know. I think that was more because
fighting stuff?
no, I think that was like I don't think they do much of the docking and stuff anymore. I know like declawing cats has gone away and stuff like that. I know that's
Yeah,
a little bit different, but I think like docking a dog's ear was more like beagles and ones that were like bred or not beagles, but like basset hounds. Because I think their ears would get so long that they would drag on the ground, and that's why they would dock their ears. But no, I don't think so. Because even if my dog, yeah, like docking her ears wouldn't be like the greatest idea. I guess I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, she has floppy ears. She gets ear infections all the time. So she's been scratching the shit out of her ear. We're trying to figure out something. We clean her ears all the time, do give her like medicine every single day to like fight whatever infection she gets in her ears, make them not itch as much. But anyway, she itched the shit out of it. Her ear got bloody on the outside of her ear because she was scratching it so much. So
yeah.
this wasn't like infection based. So she scratched the shit out of her ear, and then she would shake her head, and her ear got bloody, and she would start to get blood all over the wall. So we were like, okay, we're gonna bandage her ear up so we don't have blood all over our walls. It doesn't look like a murder scene in here. And when we did that, we didn't. We maybe should have done a little bit more research. But anyway, she gets a something like that.
Okay.
Like in her ear, like filled with blood. So instead of being like a thin little
Oh,
ear.
interesting.
It was like full of blood. And we were told to it like wasn't necessarily because we bandaged her ear up. Like it's more of like a vein popping.
Okay.
So for all I know, that had nothing to do with it. And then she ended up having to get surgery for the thing because they drained it a couple times. So we got it drained twice, hoping that we wouldn't have to have her go under because she's like 9, 10 right now.
Yeah. So old enough, right?
Yeah, but and we always were scared to get her put under because we had like one vet one time tell us like, oh, she's getting up there. Like you got to be careful if you put her under. And then this vet that we went to, they were like, no, she's fine. Like
Yeah.
basically
That's
put
good.
all my worries aside. But anyways, turned out hopefully to be an over in the long run because she got her hematoma taken care of. She got some stitches in her ears. Looks a little bit painful. She definitely is playing it up big time. Like she's cuddling every second of the day. But then also since we did get her put under, there was this deep ear cleaning they could do, and we got that done too. So we kind of killed two birds with one stone. So
Nice.
that was nice. So turned a under into an over. That's what I do. But then my actual over was went to Nashville this weekend for a comedy show, and we went down early. Basically, best time I've had in Nashville since I've been here. I'm a fairly big Barstool fan, so I wanted to see what they have a Barstool bar in Nashville.
Okay.
And I'm going to do my observation before you do your tip of the week, this one, because this will transition kind of smoothly. Uh, but so I wanted to see what this Barstool bar was all about. And the line outside was just insane. And then I probably should have known better that the Barstool fan base is like young 20s, but I think I've been following them since like my mid 20s.
Yeah.
Like, so I just assume that their demographic aged with me. But like we go to this bar and it's just like a bunch of like young people looking to find someone to stick something in that night. And the line
Yeah.
outside of it had to be like 30 to 45 minutes long if you want to get in there. And my wife and I like walked past this line and we like stood in the back of the line for like 2 seconds. And I was like, we both looked at each other and we're like,
Yeah.
shook our, like, we didn't even have to talk. We just like, we're like, nope,
Yeah. We
not
ain't doing
going.
this shit.
Yeah, we're not going in here tonight. So we ended up like bar hopping, like least busy bar to least busy bar in Nashville, just having an amazing time. And then we went to Francis Ellis, he's a Barstool guy as well. Like he does podcasts on Barstool, but he's a stand-up comedian as well.
Okay.
And man, he was awesome. I haven't gone to many comedy shows, so I don't know how it stands up in person, but it was like not like a full theater or something. It was a comedy club. So it was maybe
So it's
300
like,
people.
okay. Yeah. I've been to one in lacrosse where it was like maybe like 30 people, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was bigger than that. So I think like there's like open mics and things like that, and just comedy clubs that are open like every night of the week
Yeah.
in places like New York, LA, Chicago, probably like where you can
I
go
bet
in
you they have
there.
them in Nashville.
Yeah, so this
So
is
like Kansas City had them.
yeah, Zany's Comedy Club is called, and like looking at they have pictures of like their guests and stuff, and they get big time people. Like most of the big time people have probably been in the situation. Maybe they weren't like huge at the time when they did it, but it seems like one that a lot of people go to. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it
I'm
was
pretty sure
cool.
Theo Vaughn lives in Nashville, so he's probably in there all the time. You got to just go figure out when he's playing.
But it doesn't feel like that because you look at their website and it's scheduled stuff. So I think some of the ones like that, I don't know, like are more open micy. Like you could go to a place in New York one night and they won't have maybe they'll have like a couple guys scheduled or something, but they can get bumped if say like Louis C.K. like wants to try out something that night. Like you could just go to a place not knowing you're gonna see him and then he
Yeah.
would show up or something. And this isn't like that. Like this is like they booked this guy. I can't remember the comedian that went before him, but it was like the six. So we went to the 9 o'clock show. There was like a 6 o'clock show, and I didn't see anybody from the 6 o'clock show. So this one they had like a host, an opener, and then the guy that we went to see, Francis. And yeah, I mean, it was a great time. I don't know where I was going with that necessarily, but I even got picked out of the crowd. So we decided to get VIP seats, which I don't think was necessary. It was like $25 for like just general admission and then 35 for VIP. So we were like, yeah, well, we don't do
Why
this that
not? Right?
much. Yeah, like
Yeah.
10 extra bucks. And yeah, we were sitting like right in the front and I was wearing some Bucks shit. And he was like, I seen we had like a Bucks fan in the crowd. And so then he like couldn't find me at first, but like I was pretty sure he was talking about me and he was like looking and like kind of like combing the crowd with his finger. And then like when he got close, I just like kind of like I was like, yeah, I'm right here still. Cause he was like, oh, that guy must have, oh no. And then he was like right there. And then he just asked me if I liked Giannis. I think I threw him off because I was like, yeah, I love Giannis. I don't know. It was stupid. Like he definitely did some crowd work that was super funny. But like when he got to me, it was like what I was saying. I wasn't giving him anything. I like apologized before he was done. Like I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know where you were going. I didn't say that, but I was like, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
but But yeah, people who respond to comedians in the crowd, like when they're not looking for responses, blow my fucking mind. There was a lady
Yeah.
sitting like right next to me, and she was like, "Oh boy," she had like a comment for like everything. Granted, she
Yep.
wasn't like very loud, so she wasn't like throwing it off or anything. But like just because she was sitting right next to me, I was like, "Why do you think you have to respond to everything he's saying?" And then sure shit, he like flat out talked to me like where I did need to respond.
Yeah.
So then I think that like made her crank it up a little bit. Like I think she was
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure probably a little bit, right?
oh,
If you're looking for that attention anyway, right?
yeah. So, but anyways, great time, beautiful. Uh, but yeah, then we'll go into Pat's observation real quick. I'll be quick because I think we were a little long winded with the overs and unders. But lines blows my mind, and I think I've done this before on the show. I got to start getting more creative. But since we have to have an observation or a tip of the week, I can't believe anybody will stay in a line that is over 10 minutes. Like, what does it have to be for you to stay in line for over 10 minutes?
Something for the kids, I'm sure, right? So
Yeah,
like
that
we
makes
went to
sense
Disney.
too.
We went to Disney. I stood in lines for like hours, like for a ride, just dumb shit. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not sure what I've stood in line for recently. I think I stood in line to get into like the Badger game for like 3 minutes, but I got there early, right? And that
Yeah,
was why, because the doors weren't open, not because.
yeah, and I mean, I say that, and then I did wait in line for like probably 20 minutes to get into the comedy show, but it was like the same thing. It was because the doors weren't open yet. And then like
Right.
once the line started going, it was going. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it
were
needs to
already
be
there, so it didn't.
pretty cool for me to wait in line. Cause yeah, there's
I
so
wasn't
many.
willing to wait in line for Oklahoma Joe's barbecue in Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the like niche places and stuff. Like I'm just like, I would go just get a hot dog, like average hot dog over wait in line for 30 minutes for the best food of your life.
Yeah.
That's how much I hate lines. But that's all I got. That's my observation. If you are willing to wait in lines for over 30 minutes for normal things, you're crazy to me. Starbucks, those people kill me. Those are the
Oh yeah.
worst.
I get mad. I get mad if I'm behind like one or two people in a drive-through. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Why would they come here when I'm here?
Me too. Me too. All right.
Yeah.
Give us your tip of the week.
All right. Tip of the week. Daylight savings time. I should give this tip before daylight savings time, but so you start having sex 1:59 on daylight savings time, and then you can always say that you lasted an hour.
So, what was the one that we just went through? So, we,
That's the spring forward, right? So
so
it's the
you,
spring one that you want to do it. Don't do it on the other one. Then you're at negative an hour.
I mean, and if you start at 1:59 and you make it the whole hour, or does it jump at 1:59 like on the dot?
So it jumps from 2 to 3.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
So,
it's
like,
even
yeah, if you go before that 1 minute though, like if you're having a real bad one,
yeah. Don't do that.
you don't even get
Just
to
slow
make it an
down,
hour.
back out, right? Keep
I
moving.
like it, and then you can be like, baby, I'm a stud muffin. Just lasted
I
an
don't know
hour
what you
and
want from me. We were
yeah,
having sex for an hour. Jesus.
an hour and 3 minutes, baby.
Yeah.
We got the job done.
Yeah. So if you need to be able to boast, right there it is.
I like it. I like it. All
All
right,
right, let's
you go.
bounce on over to the Badgers here. All right. So Badgers were at the Big Ten tournament this week, starting Thursday, right?
March 14th. Yeah.
So they beat Maryland on Thursday, 87-56. They dominated this game. Came out and shot, what I say, 64% from three. Pretty ridiculous. Better 3-point percentage than they had from the field. Blackwell went 4 for 6 from three and then led the team with 18 points in this one. Really, Maryland stood no chance. It would be nice if we hit all open shots the way we shot in this game, but we don't. So shooting was great. Pretty big strength. Weakness, wasted a good shooting game on a team you probably didn't need to waste that on. But had a good week. Friday they beat Northwestern 70-16. And they got down 11 pretty early, like it was like 21-10 or something like that. They battle back and they go up 33-29 at the end of the first half. They get up 9 with about 9 minutes to go, and then it never really falters much. I think maybe gets back down to 6 a couple times, but for the most part, they had it kind of in the bag. Store did have 30 in this one, played pretty well. Again, they shot a very high percentage from three. I want to say that it was like close to 50 on that game from three.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pulling up wrong box scores, but yeah, this one 10 for 22, so they shot 45% from three,
Okay.
46. But let me double check that one because
Well, 45% is pretty dang good. I didn't write that one down. I don't have a weakness for that game either. I didn't watch a ton of that game. Right. So Saturday, they play Purdue, number 3 team in the country. Badgers win this one 76-75. Zach Edey and Crowell both get techs early in this one. Edey sits probably the majority of the first half. I would say at least a good 10 minutes of this half. He sat. Badgers have the lead most of the first half, and then it ends up being tied 36-36 going into the second. Chucky comes up pretty big at the end of the second half. He forces an offensive foul and hits a game-tying layup with 1 second on the clock. Really kind of put him and Klesmit put the game on their shoulders at the end of the regular part of it.
What did you think of that move? I mean, it was so we were down 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did Crowell just fall out, or was that Wall? I mean, they both ended
Wall
up.
had just fallen out. Crowell got his 5th in overtime.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
So yeah, it was no, it was opposite, because that was the reason why I was like, why wouldn't you go for the win right now? Because you don't have Crowell to stop Edie.
Okay.
And then it was gonna have to be Wall on Edie. And I just didn't think that was gonna be a good
I think they
matchup in
brought in
overtime.
Winter or
You could,
Gilmore.
yeah, you could be right about that.
And like one of those two followed out too.
Yeah,
You know?
Winter followed out. So Winter, Wall, and Crowell followed out, and
Yeah.
Wall and Winter followed out. Must have been an OT then. Definitely Wall was in OT, and it seemed like it was like a stupid foul too. But
Oh, it was terrible. Like that foul call was pretty terrible. Anyway, Badgers going to overtime and dominate the actual gameplay, right? So I guess they were technically fouling people, kind of, but they scored a bunch of field goals. Purdue only scored points from the free throw line. Chucky had 22 in this one. I thought played really well, and really when you needed him to lock down defensively, he did that as well. So we were talking about Wall's foul to like foul him out, and it was Edie was just running down the lane, and Wall's essentially standing there. I guess maybe he's trying to do like a screen,
it was a charge. Yeah, it was definitely a charge. Like if it was
but
anything,
they
it was a
gave him a
charge.
block. Yeah,
Yeah,
Edie
yeah.
charged like he's just running down the lane and just knocks Wall over, and like really should have been a charge. But I don't know. Like I don't know how you get a block call or a charge call without the ball. Like I don't.
You can.
It's a
I think
screen.
that's
It's like a screen call at that point. Like I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
well, because I mean, he should have been able to hold the ground that he had, which he did, and then Edie just ran him over. Because you can throw a pass and be like running forward, and if you just like smoke a guy that's like standing there in front of you, that's a
Yeah.
charge still. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it
Anyway,
was off
well,
ball. I mean, the announcers even said like you don't see that call very often. You don't see anything get called there. But it did to me. It seemed like something should have been called, and it
on
should have
Edie,
been it should have been a charge.
we're biased though. So I'm gonna steal Big Cat's take on this. Oh shoot! Like they just treat Edie like he's like 5'6"
Yeah,
and like frail,
it's ridiculous.
and he is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, dude, he like there was some I can't remember. I think it was Crowell getting elbowed in the face. Like 2 of our guys get elbowed in the face by him just when he's like backing down and stuff.
Yeah,
And yeah, man, that guy's just a big dumb mother.
he might not be
farter.
dumb, but he's like just like a big like oafy dude like that. In the Big Ten refs let him do whatever the fuck he wants, and so why wouldn't you? I guess.
Yeah,
This is
no,
why they got
I
beat
assume
by a
he's
16
dumb as
team.
shit. But yeah,
Yeah, probably dumb as shit too.
looks dumb as fuck.
All right, and so so the strengths here is that we played with one of the best teams in the country and we beat them, and so I think that's big. I think if we are hitting shots like 3-point shots, we can beat anybody in the country, including like a Purdue or an Illinois. So speaking of Illinois, we go into Illinois on
One second,
Sunday.
I got one thing to add to that. But not only beat one of the best teams in the country. I can't remember. Did they get a 1 seed? They probably
Yes, they're
right?
the 1 seed. Yeah.
Okay.
They are not the 1 seed, but they are a 1 seed.
Yeah, and we beat one of the best teams in the country with it felt like the deck was stacked against us.
It appeared like the refs were trying to fuck us out of that game, but we got to remember we are biased when it comes to this. Like we would probably look at any game and be like, refs hate us. You know what I mean?
No, I think that one like there's a general consensus that not even so much like the refs were against us, but there's something about the way that Zach Edey gets reffed in the Big Ten that's just whether it's right or it's wrong. It's just the deck is stacked against you in that situation.
Yeah. Well, so to be fair, he's a good player. On top of the fact that they give him a lot of leverage abilities, right? He wouldn't be as good without those leverage abilities, but like he's a very good player to account for like him being able to be as physical as he is.
Yeah, and he does some stuff that's like kind of smooth sometimes. Like because I was on the take that he was just like a big dipshit that was good because he's big. But right after I said that, I sent that to a different group chat. Like he did something like it was like a little jump hook, like with a lot of touch, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's got some game for sure. So I got to get off him a little bit.
I think defensively, he's very like the way Purdue is allowed to play defensively because he sits in the middle of the lane is like they're able to cover the threes because they know nobody's going to drive in and get an easy layup.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of the reason the Badgers struggle from 3 when they play Purdue.
Yeah, they shot 21%. So yeah, I mean, it was just a all around gritty win. Sorry, that's all I wanted to put in there. So you already had a card, but I felt my voice needed to be heard, Mike. Don't sit down with me.
Understandable. All right, so Badgers play Illinois in the Big Ten championship. Lead most of the first half, and like just kind of let it go right at the end of the first half, and end up going down 1 into the second half. And then the Badgers get up as much as 10 in the second half, and then almost instantly they get up 10, and then they lose their lead, and they're down like 4. Illinois seems to be this team that just figures out how to turn it on.
Yeah, talk about gritty. They're like the definition of that shit. They don't give up.
Nope. And so the Badgers are tied 85-85 with about 2 minutes to go, and they just can't hang on. They score 2 points to Illinois' 8, and like it just kind of slipped away from us there at the end. Store did have 24 points, and like we talked about, looks like the easily the most athletic guy on the team currently, right? Whether he's the most athletic Badger of all time, maybe. He definitely plays a completely different style of basketball than every Badger we've ever watched. Again, we're playing with one of the top teams in the country. I think that's a 2 or a 3 seed in Illinois.
Yeah, a good 3 seed.
And I think our biggest weakness is like when we need a big shot, we just don't get it. We don't have the big time shooter, and I think that's a Siegen, and he just isn't good enough to be on the floor in the other parts of his game currently.
Yeah, no, I was banging on the drum for a Siegen, for lack of a better term there. But he did come out, I want to say in the Northwestern game. It might have been the Maryland game. It was one of the games like where we kind of had it in the bag, and he goes 3 from three. And I'm telling my other buddies, like, I'm like, why is this guy not in the game more? And I know the reason is because of defense, but I was like, how bad can your defense be if you can come in and go 3 for 3 from 3 off the bench, cold, and then like I watched him defensively, and the other, or I can't remember, I think it was Northwestern, and then Northwestern was just knocking down big threes because he wasn't getting out on the perimeter. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. So lost the Big Ten championship game on Selection Sunday, and so we ended up with a 5 seed. Looks like it's going to be a tough draw against James Madison University. However, I do think that if we slow this game down, I was looking at. Have you ever seen Ryan Hammer?
No, I'm not aware of who he is.
So anyway, he does a trapezoid of excellence. In the trapezoid of excellence, we're not in that, but James Madison and the Badgers are on the same plane for offensive efficiency. And our pace is slow and their pace is fast. So I think if we slow them down, we'll light them up, right? Where they feel like they need to play a little bit faster. So slow them down, and we're going to get that easy win there. And I like the matchup because everybody thinks the Badgers are probably the dog in this game. And I think when they're supposed to be the dog, they play a lot better basketball.
Yeah. I mean, it is a tough draw coming. So it's a team that has 3 losses all year, and 2 of them are to Appalachian State. The other one's to Southern Miss. But like looking win-wise, they got Michigan State, so common opponent in that one. And they got Michigan State first game of the year. They end up knocking off Michigan State. And I do think it's probably a great Sun Belt team. Yeah, Sun Belt.
Yep.
But yeah, Appalachian State actually won the regular season. App State's not in the tournament, so they had to win the conference. Sure? Yeah, I don't think App State's in the tournament because I feel like I would have picked Appalachian State to win a game. But yeah, it's just tough to tell who this team is or what this team that we're going against really is. I mean, you said it, which is probably true, that they play super fast.
Not super fast, but we have the same offensive efficiency. And then we're at the slower end of the pace, and they're at the higher end of the pace. Not that they're one of the fastest teams in the country or anything, but they are faster than us. They're on like if it's like a 4 graph, we're both above the Mendoza line, right? The 0 line. And then we're on the slow side of the Mendoza, like the vertical line, and they're on the fast side of it. But it's not like ridiculous. And we have the same efficiency.
So they shoot 70% from the line. We shoot 76% from the line.
Got it.
Yeah, too easy. And they shoot like 36% from 3, and we shoot 35% from 3, surprisingly. I feel like we had to be shooting like upper 30s to lower 40s before the month of February hit, because the month of February for Wisconsin basketball was brutal basketball. But yeah, no, I agree with your take. I like the optimistic pull on that, because mine was gonna be a less optimistic pull. Is like, we see the Badgers do good like this, we get excited for them, and that seems like the time they just run into like a crazy team in the tournament, like where you hear a stat about them and you're like, Jesus, like they're like, I feel like we've gone into like Dayton, so the Flyers. Not Dayton, Davidson, and they're like, this team hasn't missed a 3 yet this year. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is
only one dude that was shooting. Like, I feel like that same thing. We had Florida Gulf Coast, right? We had some team that like just about knocked us off one year. That was like an upstart team. We ended up scraping away. I think we got beat by like a Mississippi State or an Auburn or something like that, because of one player that was just like ridiculous.
And I think so when I used to follow Marquette a little bit better, I throw Murray in when they had to play against John Morant, and John Morant just ripped Marquette apart single-handedly. And but yeah, no, I like where your head is going into this game. It's not an opponent that you take lightly, and I think a lot of the country, I want to say Wisconsin's a 4-point favorite in the game. I could be wrong about that, but I do think if you listen to like bracket breakdowns this week, that's going to be a team where they're like, yeah, this is the 12 seed that's going to take out the 5 seed. So,
and that's what I've already heard. I think maybe it was like Seth Davis on the ESPN show said something along the lines of like, oh yeah, this is the upset right here. James Madison should win this game or something like that.
Yeah. So currently Wisconsin is 5.5-point favorite. So I think that bodes pretty well. I think I like that in my betting brain that I still don't know how to explain. how I feel and how I bet on things.
It's basically whether you think you're getting trapped into a game.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think in this game, I would throw my bias hat off. I think I would take JMU +5. And yeah, that means they're going to lose by a shit ton the way that I've been betting this year. So
Yeah.
Wisconsin's probably going to win by 15.
All right. Good deal. Loving it. All right. Let's jump over to the Bucks.
One last thing on that game. So ESPN is giving the Badgers a 66.6% chance to win the game. So that doesn't bode well when you got 666 for your number. But maybe. I don't know.
So maybe it means that we sold our soul to the devil for that win.
Oh, so we're going to win the championship this year.
So we do get that win, and then we get crushed by Duke, maybe.
I'll tell you what, if Wisconsin wins the championship this year, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have to buy anybody Hardee's breakfast, because that's what my bracket's got going in it, is Wisconsin all the way.
I did do one bracket today, and I got Wisconsin winning it all. I think Marquette, Wisconsin, Elite Eight, and then Wisconsin getting through, and then getting past Creighton.
Yeah. I had to cover my wife a little bit because she got her master's degree from Arizona online, and she's been searching. I think she's kind of jealous, not growing up in the United States, that we all have these like teams we can pull for. So
you can always just pull for Wisconsin. Come on.
But I think she wants some individuality, and I kind of respect that. So she does. She goes for the Bucks with me. She goes for the Packers with me. She goes for the Brewers with me. But college-wise, I think she wants her own thing. And she was going to try Indiana because her dad graduated from Indiana. And then something clicked to her. She was like, "Oh, I got my master's degree from Arizona." So she's becoming a Wildcats fan. And then on top of that, she likes
Arizona,
cats.
Wisconsin is like, we hate them guys.
I know, and that's who
I shouldn't say that. We always beat them when it matters.
Yeah, that's optimistic view. I mean, we got our ass whooped by them this year, but yeah,
but when
in the tournament, in the tournament.
I think we've beaten them 3 times in the tournament.
Yeah. So in the championship, when Wisconsin's playing Arizona, we're sitting pretty good.
Is Arizona 1 seed?
They're a 2 seed, so
we might not beat them then.
Why is this?
I think the 3 times we beat them, they were the 1 seed. So in 2000, we beat them. We were the 8 seed, they were the 1 seed. We beat them, and then we beat. Maybe it's only twice. Maybe in 2015 too.
Yeah, no, I remember a big win against a good Arizona team. All right, let's jump to the Bucks here and get these people on their way to work off the phone with us. Speaking of phones, just had a random break brought to you by Hardee's in Oakdale. But Mike got some good information during the break while I was doing my job a little bit. Mike, tell him what you got for him.
All right, so the number 1 seed Arizona Wildcats were beaten by the Wisconsin Badgers in 2000. 8 seed Badgers beat them. And then in 2014, the number 1 seed Wildcats were beaten by the number 2 seed Wisconsin Badgers in the Elite Eight game to go to the Final Four. And then in 2015, the number 1 seed Badgers beat the number 2 seed Arizona Wildcats. So
good success over them. Kirk Penny might be
for sure.
Yeah, Kirk Penny might be a good one to get on because he was on the 2000 team, right? Or am I crazy? That was even before.
I mean, so that's I think so. But isn't he like Dutch?
I think he's Australian.
Oh, see, I thought he was like Northern European, but
okay. No, I could be wrong about that too. But anyways,
I could be wrong too, for sure.
Yeah, I think Kirk Penny.
That up too, but let's get into the Bucks.
I'll stand on it. Kirk Penny was Australian. All right, so we're getting into Fear and the Deer. We ended a West Coast trip that did not go the way that we wanted it to. We go 1-3. Last game of this series, we get shit pumped by the Kings. Just an absolute ass whooping from there. But dropped a game to the Lakers that felt like we should have won. Got crushed by Golden State, which we covered in the last episode, and then we beat the Clippers. So yeah, that's all 3 of them. But yeah, recap, Kings game, Bucks won the tip-off, and that was about it in this game. Kings start the game on an 8-0 run, never look back, beating the Bucks in every facet of the game. Honestly, watching the Kings, they were a pretty fun team to watch. Sabonis, all their guys that they got, Fox, Dirte, Joe Dirte, I think, is on the team.
Nice.
But Fox, Sabonis, and Joe Dirte just absolutely ripped us apart. Complete team effort by the Kings. They were moving the ball all around. It kind of felt like we were playing Golden State in the previous game that we played Golden State. Don't have too much good to say about the Bucks in this one. So all I can say is the starters got a little bit of rest in this one because there was no chance we were winning this game. The Kings just absolutely whooped our ass. But then we get to go back home, a little bit of home cooking for the Bucks. And we play the 76ers, end up beating the 76ers 114-105. This was a great game front to back. Felt like the Bucks were just trying to keep their head above water for the first 3 quarters of this one. 76ers were playing really well. At one point, they were up 12 points in this game. And sure shit, it looked like Campaign, who we traded for Pat Beverly, was out for blood in the first half. And he only ended up with 13 points, but he was 5 of 6 from the field. And just in a good time, like when they were pushing the lead. And Campaign, yeah, I mean, he looked good. Like, why'd you trade me? Good in this one. But the Bucks were able to overcome the storm in the fourth quarter. Giannis was clutch, as he always is. had a good game in this one. And then Brooke Lopez hits like a dagger three at the end of the game to kind of put this one away. Felt like a pretty complete team effort from the Bucks, taking punch after punch in this one, but not really giving up. They did shoot super well from the free throw line, which kind of bailed them out in this one. They go 20 of 24. Giannis goes 14 of 18 for the line, so that's good to see. Dame was dropping dimes. He ended up with 9 assists in this one. AJ Green stepped up for us off the bench, giving us 3 3-pointers. He go three of 7 from 3, giving us 14 points. And I guess the biggest strength of the Bucks in this one that was better than 76ers is we were just all around more physical team. We got to the line more. We out rebounded them and then won the points in the paints. Weakness in this game, we have been letting teams shoot pretty well, and you'll hear more about it in our next game. So they ended up shooting 47.8 from deep and 49% from the field. So defense, we did go on a good stretch, like where our defense was looking real strong, but it looks like it might be coming back to earth on us a little bit. And then the last game we got to cover since the last episode is from Sunday, March 16th. So right before the Badger game. We didn't even talk about how nice of a Sunday that was. We had a Bucks game and got to roll right into a Badgers game. But Badgers ended up beating the Suns 140 to 129. Chris Middleton is back, and he did not miss a beat. First shot that Chris Middleton took of the game was a 3. Ended up hitting that 3. The whole team was shooting lights out. So they shot 54.3% from the field and then 58.5% from 3 and 100% from the free throw line. Granted, I forgot to say Giannis wasn't in this game. So we get Chris Middleton back. Giannis is out. So don't get as many trips to the line. So we were 10 from 10 from the line. Bucks kind of pulled away in the second quarter in this game and never really felt any doubt going forward. Game got a little bit closer in third, and then Dame hits like damn near a half-court shot at the buzzer to end the third quarter. And then fourth quarter was just all Bucks for all intents and purposes. But yeah, not a very nerve-wracking game. Strengths we got here, beat a pretty good team in Phoenix without Giannis. Chris Middleton looked great. I want to say after missing 22 games. I'm not positive about that. I think I took that right off the broadcast. And then Dame and Bobby stepped up big time in this game, combined for 62 points and splitting those points right down the middle. So each of them had 31 points in the game and got them fairly efficiently. So Bucks looked real good in this one without Giannis. Weaknesses that I got for this one, seems like they're letting teams shoot a little too good from the field. I didn't take down the numbers. I'm not going to waste your guys' time with the numbers, but I want to say Phoenix shot pretty damn well from the field. So it looks like the defense needs to tighten up if we're going to make a big run. But I guess this game was a shootout. So if the Bucks were shooting as well as they were, like I said, 58.5% from 3, I guess you're probably going to let the other team shoot a little bit better. I don't know exactly how that balance works, but anyways, moving on, we have upcoming games. It's going to be must-see TV Wednesday, March 20th. So we go to Boston to play the first place Celtics that are 53 and 14. So that'll be a good game to see where the Bucks really stand. Road game against probably the best team in the league right now. And then the next day we are back home against the Nets, who are a pretty dog shit team this year. The 11th seed right now, so they're not even in the play-in game. So should be a nice little break, but I guess like traveling Boston back to Milwaukee might be an issue, but we'll see how that goes. And then we end this before the next episode with a game Sunday against the Thunder, who are 47 and 20, first in the West. So 2 very good opponents sandwich, well, 1 dog shit opponent sandwich in between the best team in the East and the best team in the West right now, record wise. So we'll get to see where this Bucks team really stands. So it should be a fun week of watching basketball because obviously March Madness, it might be tough to tune into the Bucks Thunder game, but I'm probably going to try my hardest too. But college basketball kind of rules this time of year. Probably not watching that Nets game Thursday.
Yeah, probably not. The Badgers do play on Friday, so
late Friday too. I think their last game 8:40 tip. So
yeah, that's super late.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna be able to chill and watch it too, which is nice. And then it's on Friday.
Yep. Mike's gonna get
Light
hammered.
Is good. No, probably
Friday
not.
night.
I don't know. Like my mindset is not back in get hammered mode yet. So
just wait till Thursday when you're thinking of how good that beer is gonna taste Friday night after a rough week of work.
Yeah, maybe I might be thinking that. But I don't know. Like last time I got like sick drunk, it took me a few weeks to get back into it. So.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for the show. Unless you got anything to add.
All I got is if you're doubting the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks, or the Badgers, you can eat our shorts.
Like, subscribe, download. We love you.
Need my shows. All them suckers that doubted the Packers king. Eat my shows. Beat them. All them suckers that doubted the Packers king. Eat my shows. Eat my shows.